Hey, what's up, everyone? I want to showcase, basically, I haven't made a video in a while, so I want to showcase my basically my favorite build of the league, which was Mana Stacker. It's like a hybrid almost, right? It's like an Int Stacker while also being a Mana Stacker. But in essence, obviously, you use KBF clustering, you scale your mana into fizz damage. It's like almost the EE equivalent, right? Instead of stacking ES for your damage, you're also just stacking mana, which Int will give you both, kind of thing. But Grace of the Goddess, I couldn't figure out any rare weapon or meter tier weapon that would beat this. I plugged so many different combos, but that's my Grace of the Goddess. Obviously Indigon, because we're a mana stacker. My shield's like Omega settled on, but I just have like percent int, and bleed can't be immune or inflicted. I actually got to reroll the socket of gems, but you know. Boots, I have these, int, mana, lightning res. They're still settled. Like I didn't go for the last mod yet. For my Mage Blood, we have int and all elemental resist. Basically, anytime you see elemental resist or lightning resist, it equals half of that in mana, because pretty much Choir of the Storm's like, it's like the build defining unique, obviously. But I feel like this is going to be, if there's any unique, Foulborn unique that'll make a standard impact, this is probably the one, considering like you can probably stack an insane amount of mana. Not that anyone really like plays standard that much, but just the fact that in the world where there's a lot of legacy items and stuff, this is like a massively like impactful unique. Obviously means like a build around it's gonna be really crazy. And then of course a reflected ring. The important stats here are the int, the elemental res, and the lightning res. That's the 3 you want positive. Could obviously have a 4 positive, 5 positive, but. And then a lot of people ask why I went with necrotic armor. Well, personally, I feel like necrotic's just better because if you take 3 points right here, you get increased evasion off your int, which we have a lot of int. A lot of people like to say, like, just use a jade flask, but for me, like, I don't really want to drop any of my flasks, right? If I'm going to drop a flask, I'm probably going to include a gold flask, so there's, like, no world I'm ever fitting a jade flask. These are the flasks I went with, though. Onslaught, Topaz, obviously for lightning res, Bismuth, Quicksilver with rarity, and then we use wine. All in total, we have 1,284 lightning res. Could be higher, but at first when I played this build, I was using 3 1 passive voices. But since then, I actually switched to 112 passive because I feel like not having the attack speed makes the build feel really clunky. It's also for the same reason why I have this wheel, because it gives attack speed. And I don't know, just having attack speed feels better. But basically, the tree is kind of funny. You basically just path to all your jewel slots, and then just path to cluster jewels. It's pretty much like all there is to it. Obviously, you get instant leech. This snowed for the reason I said before. And then you basically need one mastery so you can get Runegraph to Refraction. Since this is really like high value. Basically saves you not having to use Awaken Fork in your gear. But yeah. These, like, I'm pretty settled on these, but at the end of the day, making perfect small clusters is actually the biggest, like, it actually takes so long if you want perfect ones. But that's basically the tree. Obviously a natural here. Pretty good, pretty high value. And then I'm using Journey of the Mind. And one thing a lot of people weren't doing that I was doing was you have the Impaler, so you can take a Tattoo of the Mind. As you see here, wait. So you have 2550. How much does this actually give you? Like, this equals almost 2,000 mana, right? 23,757 to 25,580. It's like about 2,000 mana, just one click. Like, that seems way better. A lot of people use Acrobatics, which just basically gives you a attacks fire additional projectile with split shot. Instead, I just opt to anoint split shot. And then we get this, which is like, I don't know, it seems really high value to me. But other than that, it's basically the tree. Use Radiant Faith. Obviously, a Watcher's Eye with this gives you shock immunity and makes your clarity give you mana. So that's pretty much the entire tree. It's pretty like, I don't know, this tree feels funny to me, but I don't know, this seemed to be the best way. The The only really change you can make is if you really want to have, you can have another one passive here. But I just don't like how clunky it feels personally, so that's why I didn't go for that. And then you have no, like, a lot of people also always wonder, like, why do you have no gems in your boots and gloves? Well, we use the Delve Ascendancy, so we actually have action speed immunity and crit immunity. I feel like having both is just really nice quality of life, since in the past, whenever you'd play like an ES/instacker type archetype, you wouldn't have crit immunity, but with this we do, and then we also basically have Trickster action speed immunity. And then you just get the great bonus of you get 15% global defenses just by pathing there, which is like pretty crazy. But other than that, that's pretty much everything for the tree. And then the strat I've been doing lately has been this. I do Nemesis ×2, Wisp ×2, and then Adversaries. I mean, you could use like Risk, like Bloodlines, but I don't know, Adversaries just felt the best to me. Then we just roll maps with more Scarabs. Pretty simple. And it's basically, I don't know, it's just like a glorified Scarab farm slash... Wisp Scarabs will make like Baldos drop. It'll make like Voidborns drop, Divines drop. It's not like... It's pretty much my favorite strat. It beats doing boxes, right? Because it somewhat makes the monsters you kill actually drop the loot, which, I don't know, for me, that's pretty nice. But, of course, I'm going to showcase a map. Go the build off. As I guess there's one other really important thing is you really want a graph that has +1 max tornado, because it actually affects the spell slinger. I don't know if it's like a bug or something, but like it spawns 2 tornadoes with your spell slinger, which I don't know if that's intended or not, since it only says like on this, it only says used by this graph that +1 tornado, but I don't know, for some reason it spawns 2 tornadoes on your spells, so. That's obviously pretty good. But I don't know. But basically my build, like, this is like very tanky build, feels like to me. I don't know. Every other build I've tried, like, just feels, I don't like it. Obviously you can put like the stacking, accuracy stacking Juggernaut, but for me, I don't even know. I like, that build just feels like every build I've played the last like 3 leagues versus build feels somewhat different, so. That's why I like this build. And then just obviously having like a lot of people do wield as this build, but you don't need the damage at all, so why not have shield charge? That's basically my logic, right? As I say, just like, I don't know, this strat's pretty good, it feels like. But I mean, obviously the endgame in this patch got like pretty neutered, so. I don't know how everyone feels about it, but that's kind of how I feel about it. I feel like I have like, my choices are like farm boxes or farm Scarabs. That's like my farming choices in this league, it feels like. Which, I mean, obviously by the retention player, like the retention count. This is like actually one of the worst performing leagues, which is kind of crazy, right? But obviously, also, like, the PoE 2 announcement didn't help the retention rate either. But that's basically the build. This is the farm I've been doing. Not much to it. Another build like I tried to is like Penance Brand, but I don't know. I felt like just everything feels worse than this build in essence. Outside of like, I mean, the accuracy stacking Juggernaut definitely feels pretty good, but it just like, for me, it literally feels like the exact same build I played last league, and I really want to play something different this league, right? Since playing the same build like 3 leagues in a row, like, kind of gets old eventually. That's how I feel. I don't know if everyone else feels that way, but... Hopefully next league we get some sort of new, like, update. I feel like the Atlas tree really needs a revision. Or, like, the Scarabs. Because if you look at all the Scarabs, I guess, let me look at my tab after this. But I feel like 90% of the Scarabs are, like, almost useless. Like, they're, like, 3-to-1 value, that's it. Which is kind of crazy, right? Because that was originally the reason why the Scarab change happened, was there's supposed to be like more options and more things to do, but I feel like it just made less options. I don't know if everyone else feels that way, but because now you have to use like all the same scarabs for every strat. Like if you're doing a box strat, you're using all box scarabs. If you're doing a Harvey strat, you do all Harvey scarabs. Like it's basically just every scarab in a nutshell, right? It's just like you use all the same ones. Use like 5 of them. Use all 5 of the same. So that's what there's a map. But here, like let's look at the scarabs, like, right? You have Titanic, obviously these got nerfed. And these were basically paired with Anarchy, which also got nerfed. And then like Ritual. I don't know, I feel like Strongbox, for example, I feel like these should be like Hidden Compartments and Potency should almost be combined into one. Like I feel like that should happen. A lot of the scarabs I feel like could just be combined into one. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong on this, but then it would give you more options if you could. I think Harvey should also have the one scarab come back that read all the currency shards dropped to the same one. I feel like that was really fun, made Harvey way more enjoyable. I feel like the divination card scarabs need to get like reverted back to what they were, or at least we get like 150% increased chance of divination cards on one of the scarabs. Because I don't know, this one's fine for dropping div cards, right? But it just doesn't feel as good. That like basically all the div cards drop from like these few packs that you're adding. And then like Harvest probably fine. And then just I don't know, there's so many scarabs that like all the Deli scarabs feel kind of worthless. Like the Blight ones are actually pretty good. The Essence ones kind of like are meh. All the Abyss ones are meh. Like the Legion ones are kind of like whatever. Almost people. I feel like people just stack Legion scarabs to add more Legions instead of like using all of them. Like Expeditions, whatever. I mean, you just see the value though. All the scarabs are like almost every scarab in the game's worth basically like 2-to-1 C. It's just like the bulk rate for 3-to-1ing, which is like I feel like that's like where the game, and also the Atlas tree. Pretty much every tree looks the same. It's like you take all the quant, you take all the map effects, you take the scarab, and then you just take scarab nodes, and like you take your Eater or Exarch, and then a lot of times you'll take like a mechanic, like for a box strat, right? You take all the strong box, and you're still taking all the scarabs. It's just like every tree feels the exact same. It feels really like look, how much variation is there even? The amount of variation between my trees, there's like a 20-point variation at max, which I don't know. I feel like they should do something to fix that. Or maybe add a way to like juice more in the late game or something, since a lot of people were missing an aspirational farm in this league, which that's definitely like something that was nice to have, right? But that's it. There's my build. There's the farms I've been doing. Well, the farm I've been doing. I've basically been doing Strongbox for this. Both kind of feel good, but that's all for now.